Hello everyone, Chris Loschiavo with RE/MAX Heritage Professionals, and here we are at the end of August, and is apropos for Florida. We have a hurricane bearing down on us. We go through the good early part of hurricane season, usually with not too many issues, but once we hit towards the end of August and September, that's really the height of hurricane season. So with it being the end of the month, though, it is market update time. So here are your stats for Polk County, Florida. This is our August report, and these are for stats through the end of July 2023. Closed sales, 1,297 in July 2023 compared to 1,444 this year. 1,444 last year, 1,297 this year, a decrease of 10%, 10.2%. So the market is still slow, slower compared to what it's been. Cash sales, percentage of closed sales, 22.6% of all sales were cash sales compared to 30.7% a year ago, a decrease of 26.4%. Median sales price, $321,990 compared to $327,990, a decrease of 1.8%. So median sales price is down, but it's not a crash like many people have predicted. It's down just 1.8%. Average sales price, $337,206 compared to $341,209, a decrease of 1.2%, so a little over 1% decrease in the average sales price. Median percent of original list price, sellers receiving 98.5% of list price compared to 100% a year ago, a decrease of 1.5%. Median time to contract, 25 days to go under contract compared to 10 days a year ago. That's an increase of 150%. Median time to sale, 74 days compared to 50 days a year ago, an increase of 48%. New pending sales, 1,345 compared to 1,352, a decrease of 0.5%, so really pretty much remained constant there. New listings, 1,721 new listings compared to 2,024 new listings a year ago, a decrease of 15%. Pending inventory, 2,062 homes pending compared to 2,052 a year ago. That's a decrease of 0.5%. Active inventory, 3,315 compared to 2,968, an increase of 11.7%. And then month supply of inventory, we're at 2.7 months supply of inventory compared to 2 months a year ago, an increase of 35%. Tune in, we'll talk a little bit more about what's happening in the housing market here in Polk County, what all this means for you moving forward, and I look forward to sharing what I know. So as we identified in our stats, we're definitely seeing a lower number of closed sales, which definitely signifies a slowing of the market. And we've been seeing that now for the last several months. Home prices, however, are fluctuating. They're down 2% one month and they're up about 2% the next month. So they're really maintaining some stability there, really. What we're seeing is an increase in our active inventory, but that's because homes are staying on the market longer, and we're consistently seeing a decrease of new listings month over month, year over year. All of this means that the market is dictated by the law of supply and demand. So one of the factors and one of the main and primary reasons why we're not seeing prices drop significantly is because there's just not the inventory, there's not the supply to meet the demand. That's despite a lower than normal demand, at least compared to what we've seen in the last several years, due to high interest rates. I think interest rates went up to 7.23% in the last week, which is the highest they've been in some time. And I was talking to my broker earlier today, and he kind of described it as it's sort of like a gut punch, right? When you get gut punched, you're kind of shocked for a little bit and you're frozen. And I think that's where buyers are at right now. They're kind of in a state of shock because, 2 years ago they could have had a 3% interest rate or maybe even a little lower than that. and now they're looking at 7.23% or 7.5%, depending on their creditworthiness. And obviously that's a lot higher than 3%. However, historically speaking, that's actually still a very good mortgage rate. Over the last decade or so, or more than that, interest rates have fluctuated between 6 and 8% in general. And so when we're talking about a 7% interest rate for a mortgage over time, that's really not all that bad. It's just the shock of people having realized they could have had a 3%. And there's still people who think it's going to go back down to 3%. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that's ever going to happen again. Not in our lifetime anyway. That was a combination of factors, most of which had to do with the pandemic, that brought those interest rates so low. The government was trying to stimulate the economy so that we didn't have a recession due to the pandemic. So they flooded the market with money. That lowered interest rates. There was high demand for homes, so prices for homes skyrocketed during that period of time. What the pandemic did is it has increased overall the desire for people to own their own home. People want more space. They want to be able to spread out. They don't want to live in apartment buildings in cities in close quarters anymore, for fear of, honestly, the next pandemic. Seeing what this one pandemic did, people's impression of the importance of home and what home looks like has changed, and probably for the foreseeable future. So the demand for homes is probably not going to go down. And I think what's going to happen is buyers are going to realize 6-7% interest rate is life. That's normal now. And so they're going to start coming back to the market. The challenge is the people who got the 3% interest rates, as we get to 5 years where they would normally be selling, many of them are going to stay in their home instead of listing their home. So the amount of new inventory is actually going to continue to decrease, which is going to boost prices up. So we're really dependent on new home sales. And in fact, the last month, I know I was reading an article that said that new home sales had one of its highest months, percentage of all sales had one of its highest months in recent memory. So if you are looking for a home in the Polk County or Winter Haven area, really need to consider looking at new construction. Not every realtor is comfortable with working with new construction. There are some differences in terms of working with new home builders. So I hope that you'll consider reaching out to an agent that has experience with new home construction. I know I'd love to help you. But the reality is that there's not going to be a flood of foreclosures. They keep saying that people in default is near record lows. That is not changing. The government's doing everything it can to make sure people don't get foreclosed on. And so we're not going to see a flood of homes hitting the market unless builders build a lot of homes, and they can't build them fast enough. And so prices are going to remain pretty stable, I think. If anything, they will likely go up as the demand increases. As people get used to what the mortgage rates are now, demand is going to increase. Supply is not going to increase because people who have a 3% mortgage rate are going to stay in their homes. And so that's just something you need to be aware of if you're a buyer out there. If you're a seller and you do have a place to go, it's a great time to sell because there's not a lot of competition. Anyway, I hope this information is helpful to you. As always, please reach out to me if you need anything related to real estate in Central Florida. I'd love to make your home buying and selling experience an epic one. Please refer me to your friends or family, and please have people subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love to have more subscribers. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.